Hello, everybody. I'm Matthew Brune here for Go247, and today we are going to be predicting and also previewing the SEC tournament. It starts today. I'm recording this on Wednesday afternoon. It starts today with the first two rounds. So, maybe you're watching this after the fact, but I don't think Georgia is going to be winning the tournament. So I didn't feel pressed for time in that respect. But um, yeah, I'm going to be going through every game, every potential matchup, pretty much giving my thoughts. I've looked at the spreads of the first round matchups, maybe giving y'all what I think about the spreads and totals and all that stuff. So yeah, it should be a quick video just to get y'all caught up on what to expect and what I am predicting for the tournament. So let's get right into it. We got a couple different brackets here, but I think this is the one we'll go with because this is pretty neatly laid out. And as you can see, March 9th, that is today, at least the day I'm recording this, Ole Miss and Missouri, and Georgia and Vanderbilt as the first two games. Pretty comfortably, the bottom four teams in the conference, if you just look at the record-wise, Vanderbilt 7-11, Missouri 5-13, Ole Miss 4-14, Georgia 1-17. And I think it plays out pretty comfortably for Vanderbilt. I think they win pretty easily, and I think they have a good shot to cover that 9-point spread. I just don't think Georgia has any real hope in stopping them because Vanderbilt's offense ranks 11th, but they are first in free throw attempt rate and they're third in 3-point percentage. So they're very comfortable of getting those efficient shots against bad defenses, and I think Georgia's defense is bad. Like it's 308th in the country. There's no getting around how bad Georgia's defense is. So I got Vanderbilt winning. Missouri Ole Miss is a lot more interesting. Two teams that were within one win of each other. Ole Miss won both games, the one of which being by like 25 points. I'm going to take Ole Miss here. The spread is 4 at the moment. That's tough. I'd probably stay away from it, but I'm going to take Ole Miss. And I do like the over here, though, 130.5. I think there's a little low just because Ole Miss usually can score the ball better. And it's really up to Missouri to keep pace. So, yeah, that's the first two rounds. Let's get to when the action really starts picking up, which is March 10th on Thursday. A&M Florida at the 8-9. Both finished with 99 records. Yet, if you looked at their, any real advanced metrics, Florida was a lot higher during the year and then started tailing off. A&M was lower in the year and started picking up steam as the year went on. And I think A&M's performances as of late are more promising. However, I'm going to take Florida. I think Florida. I think they're. I trust their consistency, Colin Castleton, Anthony DeRugi, a little bit more than A&M, who A&M feels like it's much more of a team effort type thing every time down. They need their guys to play well, and they've won 4 straight, 5 of the last 6. It's a good team, and I think they've exceeded expectations. But I'm going to take Florida here because I think they're a little bit more consistent, trustworthy, and they're older. Not for nothing. I think they're the oldest team in the SEC, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to take Florida there. I don't even know what the spread is for that game. Let's see if I have it. Florida -2. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. And then over on the 134. I'll probably go under on that. But uh, to the 5-12, which is LSU Missouri. I'm sorry, LSU Ole Miss rather. I like LSU here because when they played in the regular season, Ole Miss ended up actually winning that game in Baton Rouge. But LSU was without Xavier Pinton. They were in the start of their downslide. Their defense struggled a bit, and their offense couldn't keep up. And I think with Xavier Pinton back, we've seen over the last 5-6 games the offense start to pick up. The offense start to find its stride, and I think that's a big deal. So even if Ole Miss shoots the ball as well as they did last time these two played, which could happen, LSU is much better equipped offensively to keep pace and then eventually down the stretch lock up and win the game. So I think LSU wins that game. I don't know what the spread would be. If I had to guess, I'd probably say LSU minus like 5.5, 6.5, somewhere in that range. But yeah, honestly, it could be like an overplay, depending on what the numbers set at. But I do like LSU because I think their offense has hit its stride there. 10-7, Mississippi State and South Carolina. This is a tricky one because on paper, South Carolina is the 7 seed, but I think I saw, let me double check. Yeah, Mississippi State is favored by 4, and that's pretty much where I would have it at. like, you wanna believe in South Carolina because their defense has been so good, and they've been able to win games that you don't expect them to win, including Mississippi State. They did just beat Mississippi State by 10 about when February 23rd. So while you want to believe in South Carolina, I think Mississippi State's the more talented team. I think they're the better team, and they're the team that I'm going to pick to win this game. They're the more balanced team, that's for sure. So I'm going to take Mississippi State. And then you have Alabama versus Vanderbilt, which is where I'm going to have my first true upset. I'm going to have Vanderbilt winning this game. I think they match them from the 3-point line, and I think Scottie Pippen Jr. could be the difference here. Alabama has a lot of weapons. Vanderbilt lost to Alabama by 2 last time they played, and the only time they played. I think this is a good matchup here for Vanderbilt and Alabama. Barring an Alabama performance from 3 where they go crazy, I think this is a good matchup for Vandy. So here I have my bracket here. So this is what I got so far. Now in the quarterfinals, we have Florida versus. Let me zoom in. Let's see if I can zoom in. I can. All right. We got Florida versus Auburn, LSU, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt, Kentucky. So we get the big boys involved now. Florida, Auburn. I'd probably set the spread at. Well, first of all, I'm picking Auburn. I'm picking Auburn here. Now, I know in the regular season, they split the two matchups. Auburn won at home 85-73, and then Florida won when they were home 63-62. That second game felt very fluky to me at times, but still, I think Florida's front court can handle Walker Kessler, Jabari Smith a little bit to give them some trouble, but I'm going to take Auburn. I assume the spread to be at probably like 6.5 or so. LSU, Arkansas. This is probably the game I'm most looking forward to. I mean, I do cover LSU for a living, so I guess I'm biased in that respect. But this part 3 of this is going to be fascinating because if you look at the first 2 games, it was Arkansas won narrow margins, like both in Baton Rouge and in Fayetteville. Arkansas ends up pulling out really close wins. The first game was without Xavier Pinson for LSU. Arkansas in the second game, in my opinion, struggled to really slow down LSU's attack, even though Arkansas has the best defense in the conference in conference play, according to Kim Palm. I think LSU is hitting, like I said, they are hitting its stride offensively. And I think that not only are they going to be able to keep pace with Arkansas, but the defense, in my opinion, with the way they played JD Note and forced kind of Stanley Mude to beat them, I like what LSU did last game. I think LSU gets this win, and I think it's a big win for them. And obviously, this isn't a tournament where you lose a game, your season's done. So motivation factor might be different for each team, and who knows? Maybe that changes for Auburn or Kentucky or Tennessee. I don't know, but I think LSU comes into this game with a game under its belt, and I think the offense continues to roll a bit. I'm going to take LSU over Arkansas. But let's get to the 10-2 Mississippi State, Tennessee. I'm taking Tennessee, even though I think Mississippi State could give them a little bit of fits with Iverson Molinar, Garrison Brooks. Go down the list there. It's a good experienced team. I just trust Tennessee's defense to slow them down. And Mississippi State's not an ultra efficient offense. They rely a lot on Molinar. They rely a lot on post middies. They don't shoot the 3 well. Tennessee can expose that. I think Tennessee shuts them down and wins probably by like 8 or 9. Vanderbilt, Kentucky. I'm taking Kentucky. Kentucky, Oscar Tshiebwe has been a monster. If they're fully healthy, they are going to be very tough outs in March, and I don't think Vanderbilt can keep pace. All right, on to the semis. Auburn, LSU, 1 versus 5. The only time these two played, Auburn beat LSU down at Auburn, and to start the conference season. These two teams have changed a good amount since then. They've gone through ups and downs. Auburn obviously winning the conference. I'm going to take Auburn here. I think they are just the significantly better team, but also they are a bad matchup for LSU. Walker Kessler gives LSU a lot of fits in what they want to do. And so I think it comes down for LSU to make threes. And while they have been a lot better at making threes than I think we expected, they still can hit dry spells. And I think Auburn's defense is good enough here. I will say the rebounding of Auburn is concerning going into March, but I think it's not a huge deal against an LSU team that is inconsistent on the defensive glass. So I'm going to take Auburn. And then we have Tennessee, Kentucky here, which I actually am kind of fading Tennessee in this matchup pretty significantly. I think Kentucky's going to roll them. I think Kentucky is um, in March, and if they're healthy, is significantly better than Tennessee. I just don't see Tennessee keeping pace with that firepower. But I think they're susceptible to a Kentucky team that, even though they split with them in the regular season, I think the first meeting is a lot more indicative of what these two teams are than the second meeting. And that first meeting, Kentucky dropped 107 points. And maybe I'm cherry picking, maybe I'm nitpicking, I don't know, but I just think Kentucky at full strength is a lot better than Tennessee on paper. So that's my finals. I don't think I need to fill out the rest here. So we'll just go back to the basic. Auburn, Kentucky in the championship. I'm going Kentucky. I think Kentucky, again, at full strength, is the best team in the SEC. Auburn can match up well with Kessler and Smith on the front court against Sheboy, but I just think Kentucky's guards, Ty Washington, Severe Wheeler, and then you go to Kellen Grady. You go down the list of their depth at full strength is a lot. So I'm gonna go Kentucky there to win the tournament again. And in the end, that's a game for a 1 seed, right? Auburn, Kentucky, which, while it might not be super significant, it's not insignificant. You know, we know the track record 1 seeds have getting to a Final Four. So I think that is kind of significant. I think you'll see both teams playing, and Kentucky Auburn is always a game I'm going to watch. So I'm going Kentucky there. And yeah, just to recap, here's the bracket without it all filled out. I had Auburn, Kentucky in the championship, Kentucky winning it all. And yeah, that's pretty much what I got for y'all today. I just want to give this quick video out here to preview this tournament. I mean, this is an LSU channel, so I guess I'll touch on it from an LSU perspective. I think the first game is going to tell us a lot. And I know Will Wade said the first game is the most important, which is very cheesy, but I've heard that from every single coach I've covered and heard, and like just in a press conference. And so I do believe it. Ole Miss is capable of getting hot from three. I think they're the fourth best 3-point percentage offense in the conference. So if they do get hot, it puts a lot of pressure on LSU. And if that is the case, you know, we've seen them miss free throws. We've seen Darius Days go cold. We've seen LSU struggle at times. So that's not going to be a gimme game at all. And if they win that one, though, then I want to see that game against Arkansas, because that's a game that could push them up to a 5 seed potentially. I think they're pretty comfortable at a 6, but it could potentially push them to a 5 seed. So that's the game I'm going to be looking forward to. I sincerely believe that Arkansas is the best matchup for LSU. I think we saw it without Xavier Pinson in the first game. They were still able to almost win the game. And then in their most recent meeting in Fayetteville, LSU, in my opinion, outplayed them and could have won the game. So I think they are in part due, but also I think it's just a good matchup for LSU. So I'm excited to see it. The rest of the bracket, I kind of went through it. I kind of explained myself a bit. It's been a really fun year in the SEC, so I've enjoyed it. It's been my first year in the SEC, but I've enjoyed it. We'll see how it plays out. I want to thank y'all for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We appreciate it on the channel. Check us out at Geaux247.com. You can follow me at Matthew Brune _ as you see below. And yeah, thanks for joining me.